Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Ajnana
Tirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saranadha Shri Vishnapadamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanta Namostute Tattva Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishnanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhuvaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Mahavishnu Goswami Niti Namini. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatharini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashapayeshu Patreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Vishtiti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare.
So Hare Krishna, welcome everyone today to the Hare Krishna Weekend Center. And in that there is a Sandipani Muni Ashram. This particular place is Guru Maharaj, Guru Mokshana Maharaj's desire was that all the devotees should come to this place and study Srimad Bhagavatam. So we would like to first start with thanking His Grace Avinash Krishna Prabhu and His Guru Wife Saraswati Mataji for giving the center to be used, this house of theirs, to be used as a center. So thank you very much, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Mataji, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. You should say a big Hare Bol to them.
Hare Bol! Hare Bol! Hare Bol!
So although we had done one program before, this probably starts the official inauguration of this. The Sandipani Muni Ashram. We just had a Prasadam, and slowly different more programs will be held here, weekly, monthly, fortnightly. And we would hope and pray that many devotees would come and use these facilities also, as they would please for singing kirtan and preaching purposes. Hare Krishna. So now, today we are discussing about, as we sung the kirtan of Gajendra Mokshana. Gajendra was the king of elephant. As you know, he went to drink water, enjoy the water, and a crocodile caught his leg. And as the crocodile caught his leg, he couldn't resist, he could not fight him out. So he prayed to Krishna, and Krishna protected him. This is summum bonum of the whole story, but it's much more than that. So, by the extent of mercy of Srila Guru and Srila Prabhupada, we would like to first start with the first part of these whole pastimes. Now, this pastime and information about Gajendra Mokshana goes much before. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, till the 7th cantos, the life, stories and information about the first Manu is given. There are how many Manus in a day of Brahma?
14.
14 Manus in a day of Brahma. So 432,000 times 10 times 1,000 is 1 day. And times 2 is the night. In the night there are no more Manus. Brahma rest. That's when the first and partial annihilation takes place. Okay. So currently we are in the 7th Manu, Vaivasvat Manu. And as you understand, it's a half day. We are nearly finishing the half day, a bit over 12 o'clock now. So, Parikshit Maharaj wanted to inquire and know about other Manus. So that's why he asked and requested Shukadeva Goswami to give more information. As Shukadeva Goswami narrated these incidents, till the 4th canto, there is a description about the sons and grandsons of Swayambhuva Manu. We know his daughter Devhuti married Kapil Kapil Dev born. Incarnation of Krishna. Similarly, from the other daughter, Swayambhuva Manu had requested the other daughter that when you get a child, then you give that child to me. So as a grandfather, he took the child's child as a son, daughter's son, the son. So grandson becomes his son. Does it happen in India? It happens. I've heard about brothers having their brothers' children, But he is a Swambhava Manu requesting this. He requested this before because he knew that the daughter's son, Akuti's son, is going to be another incarnation of Krishna by the name Yagna. Fortunately, she gave birth to a twin. And the other twin with Yagna was the partial incarnation of goddess of fortune Lakshmana. So then Swambhava Manu took him, the grandson, as their son, and Lakshmana later on, and then they got married. It is this Yagna, Lord Yagna, whom we worship as Yagna Purusha. In the Bhagavad Gita, we say, performing fire sacrifice, it is a Yagna, incarnation of Vishnu. Now, it is the same Yagna who also accepted the position of Lord Indra. You see, with every Manu, the 7 rishis also change. Sapta rishis are designations also, but the people who take the designations change. The demigods also change with each of these different Manus. So, the second Manu, after Swayambhava Manu, he was the son of Agni. His name was Swarachisha. He became a second Manu. And his several sons, headed by Dyumat, Shushana, Rochishmat, etc. Then they took the positions of different demigods, etc. Thereafter, the third Manu was the son of Priyavrata. Now, King Priyavrata was the son of Swayambhava Manu. Just imagine how pious it is. Swayambhava Manu wanted, he was very fond, he was very austere in his lifestyle. Although the monarch of the whole universe was very, very austere in his lifestyle. So powerful, so rich, so very austere. So his son, he had 2 sons, Priyavrata, and what is the name of Dhruva, his father? Uttanpa, his 2 sons. So Priyavrata's son, he became the third Manu. His name was Uttama. So during the reign of Uttama, Pramada and other sons of Vasishtha became the 7 sages. So this changed. So Saptarishis changed. Vasishtha Muni's children, sons became sages, and his sons. The Satyas, Vedashutras, the Bhadras became demigods. Satyajit was elected as to be Indra, the king of heaven. Indra also changed. We have to understand these, how things function. Otherwise, we don't understand. Only by Srila Prabhupada's mercy we can know these complicated things to be very simple, simplistic. The fourth Manu, after the reign of Uttama, the fourth Manu was a brother and a second son of Priyavrata. His name was Tamasa. And he then had by his sons Prithu, Khyati, Nara, Ketu, etc. His 10 sons. Now, in this particular Manvantara, the fourth Manvantara, the fourth Manu of Tamasa, the Supreme Lord Vishnu took birth from the womb of Harini, wife of Harimedha, and he was known as Hari. This is Lord Krishna's name, Hari. This is how he, Hari. It is this Hari saved his devotee Gajendra, the king of elephants, from the mouth of a crocodile. So we are now the 7th Manvantara, but this particular pastime happened on the 4th Manvantara. Okay? This is the background of this. And this particular pastime was requested that please, we want to know about this particular pastimes, of how the crocodile was. You know, so what had happened was, there is a very beautiful mountain. The place, location is where the sea of milk, ocean of milk. In the ocean of milk, there is a mountain called Trikuta. Tri means three. This particular mountain is so, its length and the breadth were 10,000 yojanas, which is what? Times 8 is 80,000 miles. Height and breadth. Now please take out your mobile phone and check the distance between India and New Zealand. How many kilometers?
I think it's about 15,000 kilometers.
16.
And miles, how many miles? Or 9,000?
9,000.
Okay. And this is 80,000 miles. Up and down. Now you say, oh, how is it possible? What is this? Well, you are living in one place. That's why first we have to understand where our position is. That's why we give the background information. Then we are in the 7th Manvantara. In the 38th Yuga cycle, 432,000 times 38 of the 7th Manvantara. And then also we are the Kali Yuga of that. We don't even know in the previous Yuga cycle of the same Manvantara what is going on. We don't even know this. As we do not know, how can we then fathom that will be this taller mountain? Not only that, it is mentioned that the three peaks of the mountain were of iron, gold, and silver. Imagine if we have a peak here of gold and silver and iron. Everybody will learn to cut and take away the gold, right? There they don't do this.
World War.
They don't do it because in the peaks there are innumerable jewels and emeralds lying scattered. Like we have got stones lying. The sounds of the waterfalls in the mountain create very pleasing vibration. In this way the mountain stands increasing the beauty of all directions. Also, the inhabitants of other higher planetary systems, heavenly planets, the Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadhars, serpents, Kinnaras, and Apsara, they go to the mountain for sport, enjoyment. So thus all the caves in these mountains are filled with these denizens of heavenly planets enjoying themselves, going on vacation. It is mentioning that when they are enjoying themselves, like we go to some spot for picnic or trip, so we carry our music system, ding chick, ding chick, ding chick, ding chick going on, right? They also have a music system. They also enjoy. It is mentioned that the denizens of heaven, when they are singing in the caves, the big lions, ferocious lions there, very proud, it's mentioned very proud lions, it's mentioned. Very proud of their strength. They could not bear the sound coming from this cave, so they think it is a challenge to them. And they are there, how can somebody else roar? Yeah? So they cannot bear it with envy, they are with envy when someone else is roaring. Other lions are roaring, but the other little bit dancing, enjoying themselves. Also the valleys which are in this mountain, beneath Trikuta mountain, are beautifully decorated with many varieties of jungle animals, and the trees maintained by gardens of the demigods. The varieties of birds are chirping there. Now, interesting, it is said that in Trikuta mountain there are many lakes and rivers. Obviously, it's so long, there are many lakes and many rivers, with beaches, beach, covered with small gems resembling grains of sand. So if you take in a pocket, how many you can take? They say, forget about it. They don't bother about this. The water is so is clear as crystal. And when the demigods themselves, the ladies of heavenly planets, demigods themselves, when they bathe in it, in those rivers and lakes, their bodies, they lend fragrance to the water and to the breeze, thus enriching the atmosphere. Now Srila Prabhupada mentions in the Purport, there are many hard points there, that human beings on earth generally cover themselves with external fragrances to stop their bodily odors. But here we find that because the bodily fragrance of the demigod themselves, the rivers, the lakes, the breeze and the entire atmosphere of Trikuta mountain also becomes very fragrant. Since the bodies of the themselves in the upper planetary systems are so beautiful. Imagine this. We can't even imagine this. We can just imagine how beautifully formed are the bodies of the Vaikuntha themselves. Or the themselves of Rajbhumi Vrindavan, the gopis, how beautiful they would be. We cannot even begin to imagine. This is only material world. There is nothing spiritual about this. Now in that Trikuta mountain, there is a particular garden. This is a special garden which is called Rutumat garden. It belongs to a great devotee of Krishna, Varun. Varun. And was the sporting place for many themselves or demigods. They go there for enjoying that particular garden. In his garden, he maintains it. It is mentioned that he is the great devotee of Krishna, Varun. In the 10th canto, it is mentioned that when he actually abducted Nanda Maharaj just to see Krishna's presence, he immediately returned back with prayers. He said, I want to see Krishna. And there are many other kinds of flowers. Big descriptions are given of so many different kinds of flowers. All these different animals come to the lake to quench their thirst, to enjoy, bathe. And there, our hero of the story, Gajendra, who was a leader of elephants, used to live in Trikuta mountain. And he once wandered towards the lake along with his female, fled in fear. The Chamari deer also fled. We are going to discuss this in parts. Today we are discussing only one part, the first part. Just a description, the background of what's going on there. By the mercy of the elephants, animals, foxes, wolves, buffaloes, bears, boars, porcupines, monkeys, etc. All these many small animals loitered elsewhere in the forest. They were not afraid of him. Of course they were afraid, but out of respect they moved away. This is the point. Now, surrounded by this herd of other elephants, including female, young ones. The Gajapati, Gaja means elephant, Pati means the Nath, the boss, the king. You know, the leader of the elephants. They made Tripura mountain tremble all around because of the weight of his body. Now he was perspiring. You think only be perspiring. He was perspiring, liquor dripping from his mouth. Any of us can't drink this thing. And his vision was overwhelmed by intoxication. You see, this particular mountain surrounded by the sea of milk, ocean of milk, when the waves would splash on the sides of the mountain, it would create innumerable emeralds, and they would just lie scattered around the planet of Sikura mountain. So he was completely overwhelmed, this Gajendra. With his vision being overwhelmed by intoxication, when you are a boss, when you are a king, you do like this. You may not be so humble. It's better to be humble than become a big king, a big boss, Your vision also will be impaired. So the bumblebees who drank honey, from a distance, they were also revolving around him. And from a distance, this Gajendra could smell the dust of the flowers, or lotus flowers, which are carried by the lake breeze. Thus, surrounded by his associates who were afflicted by thirst, he soon arrived at the bank of the lake. This is the position. Thirsty, perspiring, intoxicated, drunk. So the king of elephants entered the lake, bathed thoroughly, nicely. You see, elephant bathing nicely in the water, and relieved his fatigue. 5 minutes gone. Beautiful. So like when we go to the beach and enjoy in the ocean, salt water, the demigods also enjoy in the milk ocean. And when we went to this particular beach, Bithos Beach, and there was next to it was the small river going, fresh water. We were happy about fresh water river flowing, Here you can't compare about these things, So as elephant enjoyed into the lake through water, bathed nicely, he also, along with the aid of his trunk, he drank the cold, clear nectarian water. Now, nectarian water in the Sanskrit, in this particular verse, it is mentioned as Amruta Ambu. Amruta means water as pure as nectar. Amruta Ambu. And Nirmalam, very crystal clear water. So he was enjoying this cold, clear nectarian water, which was mixed with the dust of the lotus flowers, water lilies, until he was fully satisfied. So nice, you have to go there. Hot sun, At that point in time, like a human being who lacks spiritual knowledge and who is too attached to the family members, working very hard, laboriously day and night. This elephant also used tam tatra kaschin nrupadaiva chodito, tam tatra kaschin nrupadaiva chodito, graho baliyam charane rusha bruhit, yadrukshayavam vyasanam gato gajo, yatha balam soti bale vichakrame. So here, by the arrangement of providence, Daiva Chodita, Daiva means providence. By the arrangement of providence, O king, a crocodile was angry at the elephant. You are disturbing. What are you doing? You want to bathe, you bathe. What disturb other people? you know, and attacked the elephant's leg in the water. The elephant was certainly strong, but he tried his best to get free from this danger sent by Providence. Yadruchayava, according to Providence. You see, when we are suffering or we are enjoying, it is very hard to see the hand of providence of Krishna or Krishna when we are enjoying too much enjoyment or suffering too much suffering. You say, why is he doing it? Why am I doing it? But a third person who is watching us can see, oh, he's become very rich. It's mercy of Krishna. We think it is our mercy, our hard work. But others can see this. Similarly for suffering, when we are suffering, unless we are really strong and pure devotee, it will be very hard for us to see the hand of Krishna. But a third person can see this. So here, the reference which is given of crocodile attacking the leg of Gajendra, there are twice in these particular words the providence is mentioned. Daiva Choditaha, inspired by providence, and Yadruchayeva, that is occurring due to providence. Twice this is mentioned here. It's a very instructive point where we as devotees of Krishna, we should train ourselves to see Krishna's hand in everything that happens to us. If we do not get trained in doing so, then we are as bad as completely, as is mentioned here, people of human race who have very little spiritual knowledge, who are completely under illusion, thinking the family life is all in all. So this thing happened. Thereafter, Gajendra, in that grave condition, his wife, they felt very sorry. That's what they could do. And they began to cry. That's what they could do. Other elephants wanted to help Gajendra. But because of the crocodile's strength, they could not rescue him by grasping him from behind. Now just understand the situation. This is what is the situation for all living beings. To the time we are very powerful, everything is going smoothly, we are like elephants. Right? When this crocodile, which is catching us also in the form of so many difficulties, here when Gajendra, his leg was caught by the crocodile, his near and dear ones who felt sorry for him. But who was suffering? Gajendra himself was suffering alone. As he was suffering alone, of course relatives also were suffering. So what they could do at the most? They could just cry. Imagine even when we are dying and when everything is falling apart for us, when we are in precarious condition and surrounding everybody is crying, what would you feel? This is what karmis do. Non-devotees. This person is completely bereft, everybody crying. He doesn't get any confidence by doing that, does he? That's what Gajendra saw. His wives couldn't help him. They were feeling sorry for him, felt the pain and they cried. And other elephants, how did they help him? At the back. They are at the back, trying to help him. But the leg was caught. Whose leg was caught? Gajendra's. Who's in pain? He. Being in the back, what can they support? Couldn't do anything about it. Now, this is the point where most of the people experience this at the end of life. But they couldn't do anything about it. They cannot do anything about it. But still, Gajendra had some strength. So he fought his way, this way, that way, pulling the crocodile out of the water, putting him inside the water. Like this, the fight went on for 1,000 years. I said, wow, keep believing it. That's no problem. I'll believe Bhagavatam. You believe what you want to believe. Upon seeing this fight, all the demigods were there. They were also very surprised. My God, what is this going on? We still fighting like this, they're not living for 1,000 years. Maybe some demigod must have gone from holiday, other demigods would have come from holidays to enjoy, whether playing fair, different holiday tickets been sold, making money in the caves, or whatever it is. So with this, the fight went on and on. Now because of this many long years of fighting, the crocodile, being the animal of water, was okay in water. He could drink water, could drink the fish, eat fish, he was in strength. But Gajendra is an elephant. He requires 10 months to eat. He was such a big elephant. He would do so many things to it. Sugar canes, he would eat the whole sugar cane, so many of them, Fields would finish it off in one lunch. Where will he get the food then? They may not have a supply chain reaction, what do you call supply management to give him food to keep fighting. They're just crying. Those who could help are crying. And they're back, and those are giving up slowly. In this situation, contrary to the crocodile, who was an animal of water, he increased in enthusiasm when he saw Gajendra was a bit fatigued, tired. His physical strength and sensual power increased. That's what we call the punches now. When you see your opponent is being defeated, you go in power. That's what happened. Gajendra was suffering. At this point in time, Srila Prabhupada refers to the purport of preaching as those devotees who are the foot soldiers of Krishna consciousness movement. They should always be enthusiastic in preaching. Because the crocodile of time is catching every living being, pulling them down inside the water. They don't understand. That is the reason why this preaching of Krishna consciousness is very, very important. We have to take efforts, extra efforts, to ensure that people get a chance to listen to these instructions in Srimad Bhagavatam, especially of Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam, which is as it is. At this point in time, when everything we saw this way, what is going on around, he used his intelligence, took a step back, and he thought, Itham Gajendra Sayadapa Sankatam Pranasya Dehi Vivasho Yadruchaya. Bhagavatam is coming here also. Aparayan Atmavimokshamechiram Dadhyava Imam Buddhimathavya Padyata. So here, Gajendra sees the providence. He said, this is not ordinary. What has happened to me is because of the influence of providence. So he sees when the king of the elephant saw that he was under the clutches of crocodile by the will of providence, and being embodied and circumstantially helpless, could not save himself from the danger. You could understand these things. He was extremely afraid of being killed. Consequently, thought for a long time, and finally he reached the following conclusion, following decision. This is very important. This is how our devotees should also think. It's very instructive. Is it not so? He thinks that Namami me nataya aturam gajaha kutaha praniyaha prabhavanti mochitam grahena pashena vidhaturavruto apyaham chatam yami param parayanam. Here, parayana. And who is the shelter of even the exalted demigods like Brahma and Shiva? It's not about him. So what he did was, he thought, he contemplated. Quiet contemplation is very much needed for us in our lives also. So we can see happiness coming, how it is coming, distress coming, how and why it is coming. And how we are protected and how we can protect ourselves. So here the elephant, the other elephants, the other elephants who are my friends and relatives could not rescue me from this danger. What then to speak of my wives? They cannot do anything. It is by the will of providence that I have been attracted by this crocodile. You can blame anyone. And therefore, I shall seek shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always the shelter of everyone, even the great personalities. So this is the point to be understood. In the Prabhupada writes many big important punches. A fool, Prabhupada says, a fool wrongly thinks that he is happy in this material world. But in fact he is not. For one who thinks that only is illusional. At every step, every moment there is danger. Prabhupada further says, we may struggle for existence as far as our intelligence allows. And may try to take care of ourselves, but unless the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna ultimately saves us from danger, our attempts will be useless. So you may think that we have got so many facilities which will help us from danger. Hospital. But he is very powerful and influential. He thinks like this. Therefore, although the serpent of eternal time, which is fearful in force, endlessly chases everyone, ready to swallow him, if one who fears this serpent seeks shelter of the Lord gives him protection. For even death runs away from the fear of the Lord. I therefore surrender unto him, the great and powerful Supreme Authority, who is the actual shelter of everyone. This is how we thought. So one may, Prabhupada says this point. So one may argue, does the devotee not die? What do you say? Devotee doesn't die? The answer is that a devotee certainly must give up his body, for the body is material. The difference is, however, that for one who surrenders to Krishna fully and who is protected by Krishna, the present body is his last. There is a difference. He will not again receive a material body to be subjected to death if you surrender like this to Krishna. This is a point to be understood. Everyone should fear death, because everyone is caught by the crocodile of eternal time and may die at any moment. This is the actual reason, an actual point, that it's not only Gajendra, the king of elephant, who is going to die. We all are in that precarious condition. We all are in this position. And unless and until we are really devoted to Krishna, we will not see our own fault. This is the crocodile. This is how we understand that nothing happens by chance. The catching of the feet of Gajendra was not by chance. And that crocodile who caught the feet of Gajendra was not by chance too. Him getting angry was not by chance too. How there are personalities who are present by their actions, by their cursing, these things happen, but they have got divya drushti, they can foresee, and what momentarily we feel as a curse or a problem is actually a great benediction if you allow the time to go past and do its own role, own play. There will be part two. Thank you very much. Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai. Shri Gurudev ki. Jai.